What if I told you that product companies can scale the same way service businesses do, through community, connection, and real conversations, not just ads? In this episode, I sit down with Kaitlyn Talamante, CEO of LadyBoss, to unpack how she's rebuilding a powerhouse women's wellness brand by doing exactly that, leveraging authentic storytelling, webinars, and a movement-driven community to drive massive e-com growth. We also dig into the truth about buying a business, why you don't need a rich aunt, an SBA loan, or an MBA to pull it off, just strategy, grit, and a little rascal courage. And for the first time ever, Kaitlyn's sharing details about LadyBoss's brand new product made specifically for women who want to feel strong, confident, and unstoppable during all phases of menopause. Exclusive for Revenue Rascal listeners, use code RASCALS20 for 20% off and early access before it drops to everyone. Hit play. This one's equal parts business masterclass and comeback story. All right, Kaitlyn, I'm so excited to have you here, CEO of LadyBoss. And the first thing I want to ask you right now, because this is all I'm hearing right now, buy a business. Like, this is like the silver, I think they call it silver tsunami. Everybody's retiring. Get yourself a business, all the things, right? And that sounds super sexy and fun. But at the end of the day, that's like a big thing to do. Right? Like, I don't know how you feel, but don't you feel like the marketing right now from certain influencers, just like, it's so easy, scoop up a business, you know? And I actually considered it over the last year, and I've probably studied 50 P&Ls, and I have made the educated decision to not move forward with any of them. And so I want to kick this off because you're not the founder of LadyBoss. You acquired LadyBoss. And I want to hear your story right now. First of all, what motivated you to do it? But then second, I really want to talk about the transaction. Like, how did you, like, if you want to share, how did you fund it? How'd you make it happen? How'd you convince your husband it was a great idea? Like, all the things. Okay. So let's start there.
I will give you all the things, and 100% you're spot on. Everyone's like, boomers are selling, go buy. But there's so many pieces that come into it. And I do want everyone to know that if that's what you want to do and buy a business, there's a million and one ways to acquire a business. And I'll get to that point here in a moment. But I am customer to CEO. I actually started working with LadyBoss in 2019 as an employee, but I came in as a customer in 2018. And I had just had my second child. I was staying at home with him for a little bit. So I was doing the stay-at-home mom thing. And my health was not there. And so I came across this company called LadyBoss, who is and was and still is an amazing company with an amazing mission that just lit me up. And I was able to lose 65 pounds on the program. And I knew I needed to be a part of a company that had such a massive movement, that was doing such big things, and that personally did something so incredible in my life. And so I joined as an employee, worked my way up, and then in 2024, I had the incredible opportunity to actually purchase it. So along the way, I've now lost 75, 85 pounds. I love the mission. And if I'm being 100% honest to you and your audience, it was an emotional purchase in multiple ways. I've got emotional ties to this mission. I've been a part of in and on the business for so long, let alone on the flip side of the emotion, it is scary to buy a business. There is a lot of skin in the game, and it is like constant whiplash even after buying the business, but it's 100% worth it. So had the opportunity to buy LadyBoss, and it really started with the prior owner, Russell Brunson. Some of you may or may not know the man. He was the current owner at the time, and he approached me and he said, hey, like, I'm a busy man. I've got a lot going on right now, and I don't have the time LadyBoss deserves. I have some people in mind that I would like to acquire the business. Would you take a look? And I said, sure, why not? One side of me is like selfishly like, well, I want to keep my job. I want to stay employed. I want this mission to like keep going. And the other side, like, he said the word acquire. What does that look like? And I sat on it. I didn't say anything at first. And Michelle, you asked how I convinced my husband. And it was actually my husband that helped me pull the trigger, because that imposter syndrome was creeping in. I had thought it. I was like, ooh, acquire, like that could be me. I mean, if they can't acquire it somehow, like, why couldn't I acquire it somehow?
Yeah.
And he said it to me. My husband, we were laying in bed one night talking about it. And I was like, yeah, they're an amazing group that he wants to acquire it, but, and he's like, well, why don't you just throw your hat in the ring? Why don't you give the offer to Russell? And I was like, what? The second he said it was like my permission slip that I needed, which, ladies, I didn't need it, but I needed to, like, yep, no, I was already thinking it. I hadn't said it yet. And it's meant to be because you are reading my mind right now, right?
Yeah. And, instead of saying it's a permission slip, it feels really wonderful to be supported by your spouse.
100%.
That's the whole design of marriage anyway, right? So no one needed to give you permission, but it sure feels great when you have your partner and that has your back.
Oh, yeah. Especially when it's such a big financial decision and risk for yourself and your family and all the things you've got going on, right? So to have them, I'm a big fan of saying, like, your spouse might be amazing, your friends, your family, but they might not be your biggest supporters. Because, like, I know my husband comes to me with, like, an idea and I'm like, ooh, but I'm like the devil's advocate here. And so actually have him as, like, my hype person. It's like, no, you need to go do this. Like, this is your calling. This is what you've been waiting for. Like, go. It was awesome.
Oh my God, I love it. Okay, so he encouraged you to do that. So now I got to know, how did you pitch yourself? How did you beat out the other people that Russell was considering?
Yeah. So I voiced it to him one day because, okay, this is all through a box conversation, right? And I'm like, okay, Russell, like, I've taken a look at him and here are my concerns. They weren't located in the US. That was a big concern, meaning that supplements, cross borders, things like that, and a whole bunch of things, right? But those are all things we can overcome. So here's my concerns, but they can be overcome. It's not like an end all. But I wanted to throw this out there. Could I throw my hat in the ring? Would you be willing to look at me possibly being able to acquire the business? And he's like, oh, like, hadn't even crossed his mind. Like, you'd be interested in that? And I'm like, yes, I would. And of course, then he had to ask the hard questions. Well, would you be able to, support it? Would you be able to take over these pieces? Like, would you? And I was like, yep, 100%. Like, I will figure it out one way or another. I've got this. And it actually took him about probably a solid month before I knew what his final decision was. I think in his mind, he had already made it, but he never voiced it to me. So I was like, oh, no, like, which way is he going? Like, I'm going back and forth on this. And he's like, so you about ready? Like, let's get the lawyers to start talking. And I was like, oh, wait, yeah, let's go.
That's right. Oh my God, I literally can, if I close my eyes, I can see him doing that. Like, I can literally see, like, you're in Voxer, you're going back and forth. Oops, I forgot to tell her yes. Like, in my head, I could just, like, see this.
So me and my husband were looking at buying a second home at the time. First offer had fallen through, and I thought, okay, it's a sign. I didn't realize this was the sign it was, right? Well, when I'm boxing him, I am looking at his second home. I'm like, oh, this is really pretty, this and that. And he's telling me, he's like, so let's get the lawyers to talk. And I look at my husband, I was like, we got to go. We can't buy that. We're not buying a second home right now.
Oh my God, I love it. That is such a great story. So before we jump into more of, like, about the business, I mean, that's a lot of weight that you were able to lose. That's incredible. I've been on my own health journey over the last year, just, trying to get myself back into my peak shape. And so, I'm talking about like 15 pounds. So 60, 70 pounds. Oh my goodness. So what was the trigger for you of, like, yes, I need to lose this weight and I'm committed to this and it'll happen?
So my story is kind of twofold. In 2019, when I found the company, I lost 65 pounds. And I used LadyBoss products, but I did my plan, and my plan failed. And that was all on extremes. While I used the protein as part of the community, I was gym twice a day. I was 100% clean eating, all these things that aren't sustainable as a working mom, busy, crazy schedules. Like, it's not ideal. And COVID hit. I gained it all back. And I found myself in Boise, Idaho, in the middle of winter in my hotel room crying. Just had an amazing LadyBoss event around these incredible women. And I found myself in my hotel room crying because I realized I had a sense of I didn't belong. And it clicked that I gained all the weight back, all of it. And I had to dig deep as to how and why I gained it back. And it boiled down to the extremes. LadyBoss preaches, and we talk about keeping it sustainable, making these lifestyle changes, not a fad. Like, so many, I mean, it doesn't matter if it's the GLP-1s or the keto or whatever tool you choose, they're tools. You have to make sustainable changes. And I had not. I did my route. So I dove back in. I actually followed the LadyBoss principles and the plans that I preached all the time, and made sustainable changes. And now I'm down 75, 80 pounds. And I've now kept it off for the last 3 years.
Oh my gosh, that's incredible. Incredible. I would have never guessed that you had that much weight to lose. Like when I met you, it's just you're so confident in your current body that I'm like, no way. She, like when I was reading through that, preparing for this interview, I was like, she's lost 65 pounds. Like I can't even like imagine. So you've got it locked in. And I think there's a lesson here, and I think you're going to agree with me. It's what you're talking about is the extremes, essentially like burning out on your own health plan, right?
Yes.
And I feel like that greatly carries over to business as well. So how you operate your business, how you run your business, it is super easy. I've experienced burnout multiple times in my life because I didn't have anybody to teach me how to do it differently. So I had to do it the hard way, and I burned out a couple of times. And, part of the mission of this podcast is to show people that the burnout badge, like you don't have to get it. It's not a cool badge you want to wear on your shoulder. Like there is other options, right? So one thing I love about LadyBoss's model, and which I just love in general, is recurring revenue, subscription models, because it really does allow you to capitalize on the recurring revenue, not having to acquire at such volume every single month. The lifetime value of the customer is actually way more important than the acquisition. So share with the audience a little bit right now about the subscription model of LadyBoss and what that's done for you, your employees, the company, in order to not feel like you need to earn the burnout badge.
No, I get 100%. Like, if you don't have to earn the burnout badge. Like, you can breathe. Every business, don't care what your business is, whether it's a SaaS business or a physical product, or have a subscription model, because the subscription model gives you, first off, breathing room, but then it also gives you your loyal base that you can continue to sell to, and your low ticket offer that you're burning and turning yourself out on to sell now becomes this larger offer of your inner circle that you're able to sell to and nurture and actually give them that attention they need, rather than that hustle and bustle 24/7 to acquire a new customer. The gold is really in the ones you've already touched, and you're able to continue building on that relationship and that foundation with them. And so it really gives you the opportunity for that faster growth within your own community, but not having to depend on chasing 24/7, because that continuity, that monthly recurring is coming in no matter what every month, and you're nurturing them.
Yes. And that's also really joyful. And, from a female founder or female CEO level, like that's the way we operate. Like that's when we get to nurture and care and create tribes and loyalty, like that's energizing. It's, that feels a lot better. And that's why I also love this. Now, one thing is, so I'm willing to bet you've got some great funnels considering the last number was Russell Brunson before this happened. So if somebody is listening right now that is trying to create a subscription model for a physical product, what is the number one thing you would say that you absolutely have to have X, Y, and Z in your funnel, or any hacks you have to encourage people to not skip the subscription portion of it? Because, I subscribe to a lot of things, and, you get to the last page and it's like, save 20% if you subscribe, right? And all of the different things. So I'm curious, someone who's sitting here right now with a physical product that's like, I'm going to subscription model this, what do they need to know, Kaitlyn?
They have to make sure it is the best offer in the world, because chances are, if you have a physical product, you're not the only one with that product. And so like, I sell supplements. There's 1,000,001 supplements you can choose from. I think mine's the best. And I'm going to tell you that all day long, but I'm biased because it's my company, right? So I have to be able to layer in the value where it's a no-brainer to the customer to be like, well, yeah, if they're going to give me this for free and this for free, and they're going to show me how to use it and hold my hand and make me feel safe in the product, and there's a money-back guarantee, sign me up right here, right now.
Okay, let's expand a little bit on what you offer your community members to keep them accountable and to stay on a plan to be their healthiest self. I want to learn about that.
So we have a LadyBoss Facebook community. It has 150,000 women in it, about 50 that are full-time active. And we run monthly challenges. It changes every month. Sometimes it's this month, it's Halloween. So we're doing healthy snack swaps. So where everyone's sharing their favorite snacks or swaps every single day. Sometimes it's ab challenge, plank challenge, but it's that constant accountability and communication that's happening in that group. So they show up, they know where they can go for help, and there's continually pump free data and information at them to continue on their journey. It's not like here's your product, go have 1 to 3 shakes a day, you'll be fine. Because you won't. You need that accountability system. You need that support system. Because as I mentioned before, when it came to buying the business, it's not always your friends, your family that are going to support you. And LadyBoss community gives you that. Building a community around your product builds that mission. It becomes a mission, a culture of support.
Yeah, I think that's huge. And another thing, when I think about if I'm doing a parallel to, let's say, a SaaS company, right? To prevent churn, you need to make people use, right? So you have to use the product, right? That's the number one way to make sure that somebody stays with you is if they're using what you're throwing out, right? And then I also think about all of the subscriptions that I have. One of my favorite products is Take Thesis. It's called Clarity to help you focus. It's an alternative to Adderall, basically, right? And so I really like that. But I recently had to cancel my subscription because I have forgotten to take it. So I literally have 5 months of Clarity and just stacked up in my pantry, right? And it always says you can skip a cycle or whatever it is. I was like, no, there's no catching up. At this point, I actually just need to use the product, right? And so when I'm thinking about this right now, if I think about every single product that I was supposed to use every day that I have not, it's actually because nobody was telling me and reminding me to use it or encouraging me or saying, here's the benefit. So what I'm hearing from you right now, that especially if it's a product that should be, consumed or used on a daily basis, creating that community. Also, you get the culture, you get the tribe, all the feel goods, but you also reduce churn. Would you agree?
Yes. You reduce churn, and those that you haven't fully converted yet, they're watching all the testimonials, all the people come in. I mean, before I popped on, I was in the group and there's a gal, she ordered 1 bag. Oh my goodness, this is so great. This is so amazing. I'm going to go order more because I can't just do 1 a day. And I'm like, I didn't pay her for marketing. That's her honest feedback and review. And so it helps with churn, and it helps bring those ones back in that might have churned at some point or have just been waiting for their permission slip to sign up. It's for them.
It's for them, yes. And I was so excited when you sent me my bag. Look at it. It's so beautifully branded. And you know what I love about this? It says, let them eat cake, and it's a great cake. And as we're recording right now, it's my birthday. So I am going to have a birthday shake, in case you're wondering what I'm going to do after this. And I'm so excited, vanilla cake. So I love a good shake. I also love mixing my protein powder into yogurt. Do you do that?
Yes. And I'll do sugar-free cheesecake Jell-O mix with some strawberries on top. Oh, yeah. And then I've got a lean cheesecake that is delicious. My whole family will devour it.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. I'm going to start adding that in to my system here. Cause I personally try to get my body weight in protein per day. That helps me a lot. And when you're able to supplement with protein powder, oh my gosh, it changes everything. So I'm curious, outside of the protein powder, what's one of your other favorite products that either is happening right now, or if you want to give us a sneak preview, because I know you have some things in the pipeline, it could be on the podcast.
Oh, I know. I'm looking at the date when this is supposed to publish and go live. All right. So we've got a new product coming. Hopefully tomorrow, any day now. It is a full hormonal balance for women. Hormonal balance, sex drive, mood booster. It's think of if you are a supplement girly and you've got your supplement cabinet of your B, your 12, your maca, your Damine, your this, your that you're taking every day. Think of this as like your one-stop shop into 2 capsules a day versus 15.
I'm so excited for this.
I am so excited because I literally as we are supplements for women by women. If I'm going to put it in my body, it's got to be quality. And there's tons of things I already take, but there's multiple capsules. Like I could pull out my desk right here and I got all the things right here and I'm sick of it. And so this new product is called LadyBoss Ignite. It is really going to energize the system. And it doesn't matter if you're in your 20s or in your 50s and going through menopause. It's really that whole rounded hormonal balance.
I mean, I feel like you're capitalizing on such a huge trend right now that is going to be so amazing for Lady Boss and a Lady Boss community because, I mean, I had my own perimenopause struggles and trying to find the resources for it and balancing the hormones. And I mean, at one point, I'm just like you, like literally 30 pills a day. I'm like, I'm going to gag. Like, this is so many. And it gets like, it's unsustainable. Like, and like we talked about it earlier, like do things you can actually keep up with. Like I can't commit to 30 pills a day for the rest of my life. Like that's just an impossible thing. And so I'm so excited. I'm going to give Ignite a shot when it's ready. That sounds amazing. I can't wait for that because it's so incredibly mission critical. And with just 2 pills a day, I love that because that's something I can do forever.
Yep. And I mean, there's things that are in it. There's others on the market, but there is not this anywhere else on the market. Like this is a custom Lady Boss formulation of all the things that are just amazing for every woman.
So tell me, do you have a background in like the science behind all of this? Or are you just leaning on some experts? Like talk to me about that because that seems like a huge feat. And I'd love to know how you were able to do that.
It's honestly been a lot of my own trial and error. When I say like we're supplements for women by women, it's like we're not men. And a lot of studies, especially like hormone studies, have been done on men. And we are not big men. We are not little men. We are women. And that is like my stance on it. Like we are women. And so what works for our bodies? What are our bodies needing? And when you go through menopause, there's actually 5 stages. And a lot of times I do believe that women suffer in silence because a lot of the professionals out there are telling us we're crazy and there's more going on with our body, whether we're in menopause or our hormones are out of whack or whatever else. But it can be so simple to treat with something as simple as zinc or vitamin D3, K2. Like there's just so many vitamins out there that could literally make that massive change. And it's one little thing.
Right? It's one little thing.
And so it's really been diving into what is my body like? What is it not like? Like if I don't take certain supplements, the 2 p.m. crash is real for me and it is real hard. And it's like, what changed? Why was I fine and now I'm not? So being really in tune with the body.
Yeah, I love that. So from serving your community, serving women, that it's so powerful, but I also have to bring it back to business here. Super, super smart because this is what everybody is talking about right now. How to balance hormones, how to go through menopause gracefully. And I think taking advantage of trends, like when you have an established baseline company and then you're going to take advantage of a trend, launch it to your existing client base. So tell me what that launch is going to look like. Like, how are you strategically going to encourage as many of your subscription, customers right now to add this in to their next shipment?
Yes. So it's totally going to start with the FOMO. We've got something new coming. You don't want to miss this, especially because the audience used to get new stuff all the time. It's been a while. So really creating that FOMO. We're not releasing the name, anything else. Just really growing the email list. Make sure you opt in so you don't miss this release. And hey, when you opt in, you actually have an opportunity to win a year's supply. So now I'm growing my email list before they even know what the product is.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I love it.
Yes. Step 2 will then be, we actually are, hey, here's the name, which I've told you on this podcast. So hopefully we've already started the whole thing by then. But LadyBoss Ignite is our product. This is what it does. Beautiful funnel base. but we might sell out and it's not in the warehouse yet, but you can snag yours now before it does sell out to be the first to get your shipments and add it to your subscription, which is going to guarantee you don't run out.
Yeah, so that's step 2. So step 1, tease them. 2, FOMO. And then do you have a 3 or is 2 wrap it up?
Nope. 3, we're going to go live with a webinar. We're going to go live with a webinar inside the community. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be amped up and it is going to launch. And then of course then we turn on the ad funnel and all of that and we start driving traffic.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So the crossover. So why I'm fascinated right now, and I guess it depends on who's listening right now, how aware they are of Russell Brunson, ClickFunnels, the funnel world, the online world. Like I geek out on this, but what I think is incredibly important for everyone to listen to right now is like what you just said about your webinar. The webinar is not just for selling coaching programs, courses, like digital products, all of these things. As a product-based brand, you're going to launch a webinar. And I think that is incredibly critical because I'm assuming there's going to be a massive amount of education in it of why you created the product, what goes into the product. So a lot of the hesitations from somebody listening are going to be abolished and they're going to want to add it to their cart because you'll also probably, because you haven't offered this before, a lot of your community might already be using other supplements. So they have to commit to stop using those and to use yours. So you're moving them over. I love this so much. And I think this is a huge business lesson for all e-com brands selling a product that you can still use a webinar as your educational tool to convert people. And I think that this is really powerful. Can you share a little bit more about the logic behind the webinar to encourage more people who are listening right now not to be afraid of it when it's a physical product?
You hit a lot of them on the head. Like you're able to address their questions and concerns right there in front of them. And with a webinar, normally you don't just do it the one time. You keep doing the webinars. And as you have questions come up, you're able to address them before they even ask. Because chances are that one question is being asked over and over again. So you're able to answer all the questions before they even bring it up. They're able to feel heard without even having to say anything. Okay. You're having the opportunity to tell them that like, hey, might not be for you, which I know I'm going to tell them that this product might not be for you, but everyone's always trying to sell them, right? In a webinar, you're trying to sell them. So to get in their face and be like, hey, Michelle, you know what? This product might not be what you're looking for, but let me tell you this. If you do try it and it does change your life in the next 30 days, is it worth it? And so it gives you a different perspective of like actually having that relationship with them, one to many versus one-on-one. And they feel like they're part of that community. They feel seen, even though it's not a one-on-one. It's a webinar. You're talking to lots and lots of people on this thing. You're able to sell your product and build that community, that mission, that culture that you're driving down, that you're building.
Yes. I really want to challenge people who have physical products to try a webinar. I think it is so powerful and I think it's greatly underutilized, specifically in, physical product land. So one of my favorite questions to ask my guests is about something that happened prior in your life that has really shaped your views on business today. So can you share a moment in your early life that really, like I said, shaped how you think about business today and operating?
I would say the biggest thing that shaped business today and how I'm operating actually wasn't something from a long time ago. It was probably in the last 5 or so years. I always knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I didn't know what it looked like. I used to be a believer that faith and business didn't go hand in hand, whether you were an employee or an employer. Like you didn't bring personal life to work, right? You didn't bring your faith to work. And it was a no-no if you did. And LadyBoss is now my company. I am now CEO. I have now had this opportunity because the man above had bigger plans for me. This is his purpose. While I always wanted to be an entrepreneur, I knew my audience was going to be women and helping them live their best lives. I didn't know what the vehicle was. And so in the last 5 years, I've really been able to see that where I was young and thought that there was separation of it was a lie. It doesn't have to be separate. There's a reason that I have this opportunity and it's so much bigger than me and I have to be true to that. And faith can have a place in the workplace.
I actually noticed, and I don't have the quote memorized, but you have a quote at the bottom of the website.
Yes.
Yes.
Psalm
What is it?
46:5. God is within her. She will not fail.
I love that. When I was on the website earlier, I was like, oh, this is good. This is good. Okay, so then, I think that this actually falls really great into my next series of questions because it's about the relationship to risk. So I have this theory that your relationship with risk dictates how much wealth you will have in your life. And I have never met anybody successful that's disagreed with me. So I like to expand on this topic. But for you specifically, what I'm hearing, and you can totally say I'm wrong, is that your relationship with risk is actually higher because you have faith in God and like what you just said, has got your back and he has the plan, right? So I would love for you to share with the audience, like your relationship with risk and how that correlates with your faith. I think it's a really significant thing.
I would agree it is higher because whether this turns out great or it doesn't, it's all part of the path I'm on. And so really leaning into his purpose for me keeps me making risks every single day. And I actually have this other quote that says, the devil couldn't take me out, so he's trying to wear me down. And I keep this here because even when things come up that's like, gosh, am I really going to keep doing this? Like I mentioned the whiplash business ownership earlier today. Whether it's financial or employees or tough decisions, or there's always something that comes up. You'll have some great days and you're like, darn it. But you've got to dig into that why. And for me, that why is that purpose that's going to keep me driving forward because the risk is worth it. The purpose is so much larger than me. The impact is so much larger than me. And I have to know that, believe that, and see past it. And even on days when I don't feel like showing up, when I've been kicked in the butt way too many times that day, I still have to show up as my best self because the purpose is larger than me.
Oh my gosh, I love that so much. I was listening to a podcast and it's slipping my mind. That's horrible. Of which one I was listening to yesterday. And the guest had mentioned some study, and I'm going to need to find it, that said, the study said that if you're the happiest people in the world aren't necessarily the richest. However, they have two things in their control that makes them happy. And I really do believe this. One is autonomy in their life. So they get to make decisions. They don't feel handcuffed. They have some type of flexibility over personal and professional life. And then two is a purpose. So something bigger than them. And that could be like 4 million different things, right? And it's going to look different for someone who's faith-based, who's not, but there's still like this greater purpose. So my question to you, you agree with this study that I need to go find Insight? Because I do. I was like eye-opening by I was like, yeah, duh, that is so obvious.
Yes. Yeah. So part one that you mentioned, a lot of times as employees or employers, we hear, oh, you have to have work-life balance. I'm sure you know that's crap. There is no work-life balance. But what you have to find is the flow, the web and the flow of how can you balance your home life and your work life and have that time to get creative, to be like, oh, I've got this community and this is like, I need to reduce churn. So, let's go have fun and do this new challenge with them. You need that creativity space, have that flow. The second part, purpose, you're going to have to send me the study. I love it because my word of the year is actually purpose. Like, kid you not, like I've got a necklace somewhere around here that I wear that says purpose on it because that's my word of the year. You have to have purpose. I was just having a conversation with my husband the other day. He's like, okay, I want this, but I feel stuck. And I'm like, you feel stuck because your why and your purpose isn't connected yet. You've got to know why you do what you do. And if you don't, then why are you doing it? And that's when you get stuck.
That is so important when there's been several times, like over the evolution of my business over the last 7 years, I sold all kinds of things, just like most people who sell online. So I've sold courses, programs, masterminds, all of the things, right? And I don't remember, maybe sometime last year, I created the sales page. I was ready to sell something. I told a few people. And then as soon as I started sharing it, I was like, nope, this isn't it. Shut it down, turn it off. Like something doesn't feel right. And it was like the reason behind why am I sharing this? Why do I want someone to purchase this, right? And I'm like, nope, I'm done. Pause, delete, okay? 404 error if you try to go to the sales page, right? So I'm just like, this doesn't feel right. And I had to have a gut check. And it really was exactly what you said. It was like, why am I doing this? Not just for myself, but for others. Like, I'm missing something. I'm going to pause a little because it's just not quite exactly what I wanted. And I think people need to hear that, because I'm sure you have also thought of products that you wanted to launch for LadyBoss, and maybe you got pretty far into the sourcing of it. You're like, wait, this doesn't feel quite right, right? So that is like so in alignment for me. And I just think it's important that everybody hears that, because most people are like, oh, I launched something and then I was like, oh, never mind. Is it a failure? And it's like, well, no, it was informing you for what you need to do next.
Yes. Every trial and error, it's a learning opportunity. You've been able to hear from your audience more, and you can alter, you can tweak. But trusting your gut is part of being that purpose. Like, there's scientific proof around trusting your gut. Like, if you have that gut instinct that something's just not right, it's something you need to cut ties with something, you need to pull that launch back, go away from that product, listen to it. It is there for a reason. And sometimes we wait till it's too late and you're like, oh, dang, that one really hurt. And I knew it. Yeah.
That does happen. Or it's like the easiest thing ever to sell. So peaceful. Like, I guess it was about 2.5 years ago, I launched a program teaching founders how to exit the sales seat. And so it was exactly how to build your boutique sales team. And it was the easiest thing I've ever sold in my life. It was like people in my audience were like, yep, sign me up, yep, sign me up, yep, sign me up. And I mean, I know you know this, but it's like, it takes a lot to get people to complete a program to actually like do the thing. That's like half the battle. And out of the first 15 that went through it in like the original program, all 15 hired their first sales rep and had them sell something, which that felt so back to like mission, right? I'm like, oh my gosh, I just gave all of these founders their entire life back. Like their entire life back, because when you're not having to sell your services, oh my gosh, it's like I got all this time. What am I going to do now? You know? So it goes both directions, and you can just know, and you just know, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. I think
awesome.
it's like, you probably know, it's either Bill Gates or Steve Jobs. One of them said, you need to spend 50% of your time doing nothing. Do 25% of your time working on planning, and 25% of your time implementing or doing the project itself. And that's exactly what you're able to do when you're able to source, like your program was doing. Like, all those founders didn't know what to do, but now their creativity is awoken. Like, now the scale, they've just 10x themselves where they were stuck in 2x.
100%. I got to find that study and that quote, because now we've got 2 to look up, right? We're like, we got 2 to look up. Okay, so let's move on to another question here. So what is one of the toughest moments in your business journey, and what did you do to get through it?
So one of the toughest parts of my business journey with LadyBoss was actually prior to me even purchasing it. At the time, I had no savings. We were in the middle of moving to Texas. We had rented out our home back in Colorado. My husband had already quit his job. And I learned that I, in less than 2 weeks, would be jobless because LadyBoss was closing its doors. And as a woman who has always been like, I need to have control. I have to have a plan. I need to know what's happening. There was nothing. There was no savings. There was no fallback plan. Like, we were too far forward in this move to go backpedal any. And that's when I had my biggest growth in my faith, because I couldn't do anything. Nothing was in my control. And so I had to look up and say, Lord, you've got us. You've got this. But it was scary, so scary, because again, we like to be in control, and I had to give up that control. I had to. And it was the most scariest thing, but it's also been the most liberating, because that's where I'm able today to take the risks I can, because he's got a bigger purpose. I'm going to keep saying it. But it wasn't until I gave it all to him, when I was literally handcuffed, nothing I could do. I couldn't figure out a solution. No, there was no way I could worm my way out of it. I was in a corner, and I had to stop and give it all to him. And it's only just climbed from there. The freedom, the fun I've got to have in life, the enjoyment I actually have gotten from not having to plan out every single moment.
I think I need to take your advice on that one. I am also get everything planned. This is how it's structured. This is what will happen. But I will tell you, there's been several times in my life where that has not shown to be the truth. Like how many times, like, oh, this is how it's going to go. Like, nope.
I don't know. And it's like those
That's
constant
not
reminders,
it.
like, hello, you're not in control, but we don't tend to listen all the time.
Yeah, I always like, I feel like I'm in like this dance sometimes where it's like, okay, this is what I think I'm going to do. You want to let me know if I should do this? Like, when I'm personally afraid, I'm like, can you give me a sign? Am I on the right path, right? All right, rascals, let me ask you this. How much money have you wasted replacing shoes, sneakers, or even bags that could have lasted way longer if only you'd been taken better care of them? I know for me, running from meetings to kids' activities, life gets messy fast. And that's why I always have Jason Mark Quick Wipes on hand. Jason Mark is trusted care to help you get the most out of what you wear. They're not just about cleaning. They're about protecting what you love while protecting the planet. Their wipes are now 100% plant-based and plastic-free, made from renewable lyocell fibers. They're individually wrapped so you can toss them in your bag, your car, or like me, your kids' backpacks. And it's not just convenience. Jason Mark is part of the worldwide B Corp movement, meeting the highest standards for social and environmental impact. They're EPA Safer Choice certified, so you know the formulas are safe for your family. And their products are USDA, bio-based, and certified biodegradable. That means no harmful junk like PFAS or VOCs. Just high-performance care that keeps your stuff looking fresh while doing right by the planet. Personally, as a busy mom and entrepreneur, Quick Wipes are my favorite. They've saved my sneakers from coffee spills, playground dust, you name it. One wipe and I'm ready to walk into my next meeting looking sharp. So here's the deal. Go to jasonmark.com and use promo code RevenueRascals at checkout for 25% off your order. One time per customer. Again, that's jasonmark.com, code RevenueRascals. And remember, this podcast is free thanks to sponsors like Jason Mark. I'm ungating sales strategies people pay me six figures for. So go support them, grab your Quick Wipes or your favorite product, and keep your kicks looking fresh. So, Kaitlyn, it's somebody right now, and I think that this is like a big topic right now, like we started the podcast with, of buying businesses, right? And I love that you've acquired this business. I love the changes that you've made to it. I love the mission behind it. So if somebody right now is a few steps behind you, like maybe they are an employee at a company that they know there's going to be an acquisition and like they want the opportunity, or perhaps it's someone who's just looking on, Biz Buy Now, who's looking for the next opportunity to purchase. Like there are a couple steps behind you. I would love for you to share with the audience of like some really practical advice of how to make the decision or how to get over the fear or, anything else that you feel like would be extremely valuable in their journey.
One is, of course, do your checks and balances, look into the business, do your research. I can't give you information on that, but do it now. Don't wait for a year, 2 years, 5 years from now. Don't wait until you feel ready, because it's like getting married or having kids. Like you're never actually going to be ready. But you're not promised tomorrow, you're promised today. You can plan for the future. You don't know you're going to get it. So start taking action. And as you take action, you get clarity in it. Like it becomes clearer. You see the vision. And whatever objection you have, I can't afford it, it's not the time, it's this or that, that is a lie. There's 1,000,001 ways to structure a business deal. Whether you have money in the bank or you don't have a penny. That was the biggest thing when I acquired LadyBoss. I was like, oh, I heard all these different ways from different people who had acquired businesses or bought businesses. I'm like, oh, that's a thing. Like, I don't need to go give you $5 million for this company or however crazy much you want to ask for it. Oh, we could do payments. We do payments on revenue. We could have interest. We could have no interest. We could do balloon payments. Like we could do zero down. Like you can structure a deal, acquiring a business 1,000,000 ways from Mars. You can get so creative and actually have fun with creating these offers that like you don't have to be like, okay, if I buy this business, say it's a $10,000 business, okay, you don't have $10,000 and you're stressing out about it, but it's a great opportunity. don't stress out. If you don't have $10,000, talk to them. Maybe you're able to make that $10,000 payment over the next 5 years. You don't know what their need is. Like, that's $2,000 a year. You could probably swing that in the business, right? And that's a million ways to structure.
Yeah, I think that's really a great advice. I really love that. And I also I think that's something a lot of people need to hear is you don't necessarily need an SBA loan. You don't necessarily need a rich aunt. You don't necessarily need to, take a second mortgage out. You don't necessarily need to do all of these things. And one thing that you said that I love that takes me back to actually the things I teach in sales is making assumptions. So assumptions in sales, I always say, don't make assumptions, and other people's money is none of your business. Like, don't assume they can't afford it or can. Like, that's actually like completely none of your business, right? And I feel like this carries over to this conversation because don't assume that seller needs a giant payout on day one, even if it's listed on BizBuy now and it says that it wants that, right? We can get really, really creative. And so what I would suggest to people to use, Kaitlyn's advice and then also sales strategies is treat your initial inquiry about buying a business like you would a discovery call for selling something. Ask more questions than you talk, and you can come back with a solution that's going to make everybody happy. And I profoundly feel like that is the way to do it. And what I love about your story is that this all happened in Voxer. Like, it doesn't even need to be these complicated meetings. And I think we naturally want to make things more complicated than we want them to be, right?
Yeah. I actually had a conversation at a mastermind this summer. Guy's got a great business. He's got a team that runs it. He's really out of it and on other things right now. And he's like, it brings me money. I don't do much, but I feel like I always have to go in occasionally because I know, I kind of just want to get rid of it. And I was like, well, okay, you got a team that runs it. Is it a team that would take ownership of it, that would want it? He's like, well, yeah, they would, but they don't have the funds. I'm like, well, do you need the funds in your pocket right now? Well, no, I've got these other businesses I'm working on. It's just kind of pocket change at this point. I'm kind of already checked out. That's why I want to sell it. And I'm like, great. If you have these people already internal that love what they're doing, that are doing it really well, then you can get creative on that financing and give them an opportunity for a future that right now they don't have any idea it's a possibility, right? You can completely, even as the owner wanting to exit, you already have that base possibly where you can give them potential. And as they thrive, you're getting paid, right? And so you want to encourage that growth and you want someone to acquire the business that has that passion.
Oh my gosh. I love that advice so much because a successful businessman, clearly, and he just didn't see that opportunity right in front of his face. So if you're listening right now and you're just like that guy, we'll call him Johnny. If you're like Johnny, then open your eyes, Johnny. Come on. All right. So I'm going to ask one more business question, and then we're going to move on to you talking about your own podcast and the wonderful deal that you gave for 20% off here. Okay. So, all right. So this is the question that my last business question, and we'll wrap it up a little bit. I literally could talk to you for another hour.
I know. I like getting to both sides of it because a lot of times we go a little deeper in the actual business side of things. I like it.
Yes. Okay. Awesome. What I love about what you're able to do is a business that shut down in 2022. You bought it, you revived it, you rebranded it. For anybody listening right now, they're probably like, holy moly, how did she even know how to do that? What a feat. A lot of businesses fail when they try to do that same thing. So what was it like in those first 90 days when you took ownership of LadyBoss? Just go back a little bit. How did you prioritize your time? What did you do? What did you focus on? How did you leverage the existing team to make this a success, so much so that we're sitting here in 2025, the business is booming and you're adding more products?
I first had to have a heart-to-heart with my team. The amazing thing about the LadyBoss team is, one, we are all women. That's not necessarily by design, but hey, that's where we're at right now and it works perfectly. And they all have a belief and a passion for what we do. And they don't just show up as employees. That right there is the number one game changer because there's so much passion to the point that sometimes we all butt heads because we are all so passionate in this business that we truly have our customers at the forefront of all things we do. And so that's been a huge benefit. Just grace of God, like a blessing. During the first 90 days, so I purchased it in December. We launched the public in February. During the 2-month span, I had some major imposter syndrome. LadyBoss had gone through the 7 stages of grief over the last couple of years, a lot of hurt feelings, whole 9 yards. And so I was a little worried that the community might, not take it so well, that I was under new ownership again and that it was me. And it's not like they would be targeting me by any means, but in my head, that imposter syndrome was real. So I had to continue, as I know, to make sure I was in alignment, heart, body, and soul, and I was living in the purpose and really lean into that, no, it's bigger than me. If they are still traumatized by the 7 stages of grief, that is okay, because then they're not my people. And we planned this launch. We completely rebuilt the site, rebuilt funnels, changed tactics, really changed where we were at, really put it back into, it's the community, it's the women that make LadyBoss, not me. I never wanted to be me. I'm happy to be their voice or a lead or give them all my advice that I have, because I will just pour into them. But it's about them and their stories and their journeys. And so when we launched February 6th of this last year, no negativity at all. I shared my faith. I was worried that might blow up. Didn't blow up at all. I shared where we're going and our dreams and our goals. And I still get DMs today y'all are back. Tell me what's going on. And it's amazing. It's been 9-10 months and people are still LadyBoss is back, and they're amped and they're excited about it. And they love the fact that I was a customer. I'm not just this person that came in to buy it and let me make all this money. That's not the point of it.
Yeah, she's back. She's back and she's better than ever. Okay, Kaitlyn, I know you have some really exciting things outside of just LadyBoss that are happening for you. You have a podcast that's launching. I feel like I need to know other things. So tell me what's happening.
Yes. So we just launched our new podcast. It is called Unapologetic with your host, me. And it is all about being an unapologetic woman. Really, the women who is ready to rise up, tired of living small, playing small, tired of hiding and of people telling her she's too much of something or not enough of something. It's time for women to rise up and live their lives unapologetically. And that is what this podcast that have just launched is all about. And I'm really excited to get it out into the world. There's no topic off limits. If we are women and we deal with it, the raw, real, ugly, beautiful, we are going to discuss it. So marriage, finance, business, health, wealth, relationships, all the things, but living our best lives and rising up unapologetically.
I love it. Oh, I can't wait to listen in, and I'm excited to be a guest on it. So I can't wait to see what we decide to chat about. And the LadyBoss has given all of my listeners a discount code, which is amazing. So use Rascals20 at checkout for 20% off. That was so generous of you. And I'm so excited for, my community and my audience to experience the LadyBoss products. I'm going to have my birthday cake here shortly as soon as we're done recording. Kaitlyn, did I forget to ask you anything that you feel like you need to say right now before we sign off?
I think I just want to leave everyone, male or female, that you were made for so much more. So stop playing small. You're not guaranteed tomorrow. You're guaranteed now. So live your best life and live it with purpose.
Oh, I love that so much. Well, thank you, Kaitlyn. I can't wait for this episode to publish and to hit the world hard. And I love this conversation so much. And I'm so grateful you spent this hour with me.
Yes, thank you so much for having me on, and I cannot wait to have you on to my podcast, Unapologetic. It's going to continue on this amazing conversation and collaboration, and you're amazing, and I'm so happy I had the pleasure of meeting him.
Yay, awesome. Thank you. Thanks for listening to Revenue Rascals, where we turn bold ideas into predictable revenue and prove that breaking the rules can still build empires. If you love what you heard, do me a favor. tap the links in the show notes to support our sponsors. They're the ones keeping this show free so I can keep ungating the six-figure strategies that help you scale faster, lead smarter, and take more freedom home with you. And hey, if you think you'd make an incredible guest or know someone who's built something worth studying, email me at hello@michelleterpstra.com. And until next time, stay sharp, stay bold, and stay just a little bit rascal.